Hey gamers, welcome back to another DSP content video. That's right, I'll be discussing the aftermath of the Kino Casino arc. It is over, guys. It's done. Because PPP posted in his chat that after giving DSP a platform, he has failed to alienate his own audience to get a new audience. He has shown us that he doesn't want to take any risks and just do the same safe bullshit. And I agree with that. I agree with that for the most part. The only thing I kind of disagree with is I don't think that DSP needs to alienate his old audience or go out of his way to alienate them at all. He can always grow his audience and get a new audience regardless. Depending on if the new stuff would retain his old audience, etc. That's just part of the risk that you take, and that is something for the person to determine on their own. Like, this is something that everyone who's making something asks themselves, and they just do it if they want to. Again, a lot of this is very individualized and up to the person who's making the content to begin with. But with DSP, he runs into the same issue every fucking time. Go back to 2016 with KO Gaming. He opens that channel. No one really watches it, only his locked in fans go in and subscribe to it. They watch KO Gaming and all this stuff. That's why it starts off with very weak attention, because it's the locked in viewers that are like really watching it. But then he uploads the Homefront the Revolution video, and that gets 1 million views. And what does DSP do after that? Goes on vacation. Now, you could even argue, okay, you know, he's on vacation, that's fine. You know, maybe he's gonna hit the ground running with a new video that's gonna like just take off, right? It may not get 1 million views, but maybe it's gonna get a decent amount. After that, all of the videos were just trying to hit the same thing again. It tried to do the same clickbaity title that Homefront the Revolution had. It tried to have the same attitude where he was just kind of shitting on the game, trying to be a little bit negative, etc., etc. Like, it was the same kind of format, and that did nothing for him. Because again, when he tries something new that's successful, it skyrockets. But he doesn't capitalize on it. Instead, he tries to hit the same video again, thinking it's going to continue. But instead, what it does is, it at best, meanders. It just plateaus, and it just kind of stays the course. At worst, it just dips. It just doesn't recover at all. And KO Gaming was kind of the first taste of just how much of a failure this dude is when it comes to doing new ventures. You go to DSP Reacts. He opened that channel last year. The channel is 1 year old. 1 years old. And the DSP versus the Internet show, already done. Already canceled. It is done. Not to come back ever again. Because there was nothing else you could do with it. It got less and less attention because people started to see what that show really was. A waste of time. And now you have DSP Throwback. And look at that. It opened this year. It wasn't even a year old. And we're already just kind of not doing throwback streams anymore. We're not even discussing that heavily about the old videos that are being uploaded anymore. Like, at this point, it's even unclear if we're even gonna get the Blip TV countdown videos, because that is how much DSP Throwback has died to him. It's just there. It's just there. And now you have the Kino Casino arc. End of August, he goes on the Kino Casino. They start to express interest in getting him on. He goes on one stream, and he starts getting pampered by them. He starts feeling cool and confident. He goes on to his own show, on his own level 1 podcast, and suddenly starts doing drama content. He starts reacting to Duty, starts reacting to Rich, starting to react to Ethan Ralph, Cog, whatever. And when this was going on, I knew there was a very good chance that he was gonna blow this opportunity, or just not really understand what's happening, and to seize it while he can, because he proceeded to just do very surface level drama videos that to me was very clear that he wanted to be Kino Casino Light to placate the Kino Casino audience. Now, when you get a platform, when other people give you a spotlight, I wouldn't necessarily think that it's in your best interest to just copy what they do, and you should just show a new audience that you are talented. Hey, I can do other stuff. Look, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I can do all kinds of things. Like, that is your opportunity to sell yourself to other people that are not just your viewers. You don't have to, and he didn't have to do the drama content. Like, that is the thing. He only did it because he was on Kino Casino, and again, to me, it told me that what he aimed to do was to give content for the Kino Casino audience in hopes that at some point he'll start phasing that out. He'll do a lot of it, and a lot of it heavy and fast, and then he'll phase it out and hope that these Kino Casino viewers are gonna just become regulars. That they'll just be they'll eventually just get locked into the content. They'll eventually start seeing him for who he is after they watch him do this drama content for them. And that is not a very good way to retain an audience. It just shows the person that, oh, they only do that because like of the attention. Okay, well, and then they leave. Like, you're not giving them any engaging reason to stay. And that's what happened. You look at the gameplay streams, they don't get good views. They didn't get good views even during the Kino arc. Even at the peak, it didn't get good views. Like, it really meant nothing because he didn't really do anything for them. He didn't really give them any reason to stay, like, because he's not talented. He's not funny. He has no good commentary. He has nothing to say, and he would shoot down anything in his chat, basically. Like, it was very clear that a lot of stuff that he did was just for them. Like, he opened his Twitter replies again. He lessened the YouTube comments a little bit. He lessened the sub only mode from like 24 hours to 5 minutes. All so that the Kino Casino fans can feel at home, and he can celebrate the new attention he has. But now he's phasing all this stuff out. The sub only mode on Kick is back to 24 hours. I think the YouTube sub only mode is still only 5 minutes, I think. So that didn't change, but that may change momentarily. But all this stuff, it was done for them, and it wasn't done for his audience. When other people told him, "Hey, Phil, you know, this is like very like this isn't gonna let people like feel welcoming to your channel. They're not gonna come by. You know, you should like remove this." No, this is what I like to do. This is for the trolls, guys. He got like a YouTube rate supposedly, and he would tell them, "Guys, I know you can't talk, but it's for the trolls." But then he talks to Kino Casino, and suddenly he's able to reduce the 24-hour sub-only mode. How was he able to do that? I thought he did that for the trolls, right? But he allowed himself to be deluded into thinking that now everyone loves him and no one can criticize him ever again, which he has said that very thing back in 2019, maybe 2018. Whenever the Pro Jared thing happened, he said it back then that the lens of the internet finally gazed on me because of what happened to Pro Jared, and I could finally like debunk the slander and this and that. And then right after that, he went back to his old ways, and that was him slowly trying to like phase stuff out so that this new attention that he perceived he had would remain and become regulars. And that's what's going on here. The drama was not meaningful or anything interesting because his drama just boiled down to him saying that he's better than them. That's really what he had to say. He talked about Duty. Well, wow, Duty made a lot of money. Well, he only makes money because of me, man. So he's a miserable wretch while I'm making content, guys. Look at me, I'm so cool. That's kind of his content. The whole time he did the drama content. No one watches drama to sit through that. They watch it so that people can either listen to something funny about a shitty person, I guess, or they just want to know what they think about the guy. You know, That's why they do it. That's why they watch it. They don't watch it to be like, how is this guy better than that guy? As much as he wants to think it is. And how little does he think of his audience intelligence that just not even that long ago, he was saying that drama content is terrible and it leads to people dying. He compared Lolcow Live to the Anna Nicole Smith show. And now he's participating in drama content that he compared to that. And it's like, how little do you think of us? Do you think that you could just say something like definitive like that and right the next week or whatever, just go back on that suddenly, be friends with Keemstar, the dude you said took blood money. All this stuff was all fake and insincere, and it was so clear, even back then, that all this times he shat on Keemstar and like clenched and pearl clenched and virtue signaled, it was all just to look good. It wasn't because he genuinely believed half the shit he said. It was so that he could look good and people can say, wow, this guy is cool. It was so fake. And he does this for the Kino Casino fans. And guess what? Now he is slowly walking some of these things back. Already he's debating on, he's teasing, guys, I'm playing Indiana Jones. If you hit the tip skull, I'll put on the hat. The only thing that has changed about his content is that the begging has gotten more aggressive and not even good. It's just more pressure tactics. He says that this goals hit thing is, hey guys, it's no pressure, man. And yet, not only does he say, guys, we need to hit like to push on the streak basically because he wants every stream to hit a goal. He now has moments where he says, guys, let's double up the tips goal, which is more aggressive. So the thing that's meant to be less pressure has, if anything, added more pressure in multiple ways. Either adding more pressure to continue a streak that we're not doing apparently, but let's do it because we need to have DSP tries on Friday for some reason. For some reason, Friday is the holy day for DSP tries it. For some reason, it's like he got like a DoorDash bonus for ordering the same day every week. But then he goes from that to, guys, let's double up the tip skull, guys. Let's double it up. We never doubled up before. And it's like, this is aggressive. Just because you don't have to do a streak doesn't mean it's not aggressive when you're telling people, guys, let's hit it so we can do this on Friday. Let's double up. Let's do this. Let's do that. Like, this is aggressive. It's aggressive support. It's aggressive begging. And he only did it because Kino Casino is begging like this. And that's what he said even during the Kino arc. During a Stardew Valley stream, he said, guys, I wish I could do what Kino Casino does, but if I do that, the trolls are going to make fun of me, guys. You know, I that's what I do for likes, guys. You know, I wish I could do it, man. But then he did it anyway. Because Kino Casino did it. And now when anyone criticizes him, he'll say, well, they do it. Why do we criticize about them? Even though you're talking about the dude you're watching. Like, this attitude of, well, this guy did it, why are you not mad at him, is childish. It's kind of irrelevant, I guess, but it's just part of the behavior that DSP always has. A childish outlook on his own fucking career. He only does stuff because other people did it. Well, why do you want me to turn off face cam? Other people do face cam. Why are you not mad at them? And it means nothing. That's why when he shot on Rich's new mic, I guarantee you, next year he's getting that mic. He's gonna get that mic and say it's amazing. It's a godsend. But all of this baked into the Kino arc just shows a bigger issue. So around November, he decided, let's open a politics channel. Let's start doing politics. Let's start discussing it. The election was determined. Trump won. Let's do it. And he said the reason why he waited to do the politics show was to see who won the election. Now, and he said that he felt more confident talking about politics now now since Trump won, which, like, that doesn't make any sense to me because you should feel confident regardless who wins because you should be allowed to criticize or praise any government you want, right? Correct? So he feels more confident because Trump won to talk about politics, which is really silly to me because when Trump won the first election in 2016, he had an aversion to talk about Trump, which to me showed, in my opinion, he didn't want to name Trump or talk about it because he probably perceived Twitch as a bunch of SJW strawmen that will annihilate him if he said Trump bad. Or no, not Trump bad, my bad. Trump good. If he said Trump good, he would be annihilated from Twitch. That's why he was, to me, this whole thing that he had about during the pandemic was not even genuine. It was just fucking optics, man. He was like, "Well, everyone seems to be pro-vaccine. I gotta be pro-vaccine, man. I gotta double down on this because I don't want to get banned on Twitch." And then like, because that's why he kept saying that Twitch had a pussyfoot around things all the time, all the time. He always said that kind of shit. But now he's like, well, I can say whatever I want because Trump won this and that, and that's like the least of the thing. Because the other thing it told me when he said that was, well, now he knows that he knows what to structure his opinions on. Now you could argue he could structure his opinions to be negative about Trump because obviously we're going to be critical of him. But on the other hand, he could be very positive about Trump because he won. It doesn't matter. I mean, but the way I see it is that since he saw that Trump won the election, that he saw that that's like the mainstream opinion that we all love Trump. That is what he picked up from the election, which is very childish. Like no one, like a lot of people who voted for Trump didn't vote for him because they love Trump and they want to suck his dick. They voted for him because they didn't like the other candidate or that they felt that Trump was the best of the two. Like it had nothing to do with we love Trump now because we're done with Democrats. Progressive stuff bad. That's not why he won. He won for like other reasons that are not superficial like that. But that's how DSP views life. He sees that he won. That means everyone loves him. That's why he says in like the Snow White trailer that, well, you saw the pendulum swing. Everyone loves Trump because that's why you won. When that's not the case. But whatever. He does that. The first stream of the politics stream does pretty well for him. But each one after that got less and less attention, less and less support. Now, he's going to tell you it's because of Kino Casino, but I don't think that's the case. I think it was doomed to fail anyway, because everything has been doing was ending at a faster pace. If you look at it, KO Gaming was the only anomaly that, well, KO Gaming died not because of Phil, but because of YouTube. YouTube kind of killed KO Gaming. To be fair, like Susan was like, "All right, KO Gaming, no money for you," and then D's was like, "Okay, well, I guess that's it for that," and then there you go. So KO Gaming was done outside of DSP, but you go to DSP Reacts, right? That lasted a year, dead. It was a 1 year old, dead. This goes nowhere. DSP Throwback died within a few weeks, reasonably, and was this only carried on by life support after that, and was brute force all the way until he decided to stop doing it. So it was basically died within less than a year. So it wouldn't take a rocket scientist to understand that DSP would already run out of things to do with DSP politics because he's an idiot. The thing that I hoped people got from my reactions to his politics show, and I honestly read the comments. A lot of people actually did, and I want to thank everyone who watched that videos has understood my point, because I'm always afraid that when I say something, I will be misunderstood, or I misspoke, or whatever. I always am nervous about that when I make any kind of video, and I'm glad that a lot of people like understood that. You didn't have to agree with me. That wasn't my point. My point was like I'm just giving you my perspective on the stories he's reading. But the problem I had with him throughout this entire thing is that he didn't care. Like, and this dawned on me like just recently. When he would read an article, he would highlight a part of interest. After he read it, what was the point? He should be just reading the article ahead of time, highlighting things he wants to talk about, and just focus on the things he wants to talk about. Not just read the article. But the problem with DSP about this is that I have no faith that he could do that efficiently. Because this dude can't read. I've never been proven wrong on how bad his comprehension is when he reads anything. He talked about the American Heart Association did not understand that they were just encouraging people to give diverse food because the food that they accept to be donated, they want to stretch up for a year. So obviously they didn't want Thanksgiving food in like every day. Obviously. So naturally they're going to say, guys, we encourage you to bring other food. And he took that as like some kind of like liberal, woke, kind of agenda, which wasn't even what was being talked about. And he came up with it on his own. He then would react to other stuff and just not really care about any of the context or circumstance of anything he was reading, like at all. uh it was just, why do this? Why bother the politics channel when you're not even gonna care about the topics you even talk about? He says with this that, well, there's not a lot of topics to talk about. I'm like, dude, it's news. There's news every day. You can find something to talk about, but it has to be clickbaity news, which is disgusting. Like, think about the implication, right? He says there's nothing really big going on, so he wasn't only talking about big news. So he doesn't consider the privatization of USPS as big news, which could affect everyone. This is like, USPS affects everyone in fucking America, and that's not big enough news for me to cover. That Trump may want to privatize it, and in many other ways. Why does he want to talk about that? Oh, because he hates the USPS. Well, that's still something. I feel like when you do a politics show, you should at least be informed or want to inform someone of what you think is a problem, or you want to like kind of share a thought on something. You don't have to be the most well-informed Einstein person about politics, but you have to at least put the effort to know what the fuck you're talking about. You can't just go by headlines and then just read. He read a Wikipedia page. And this is a subject about a fucking like about a dude who killed who killed a man on a subway, which had a lot of stuff like surrounding it that was like problematic and very deep. And he just went off on random tangents and just shamed the parent for feeling like sorrow for his son being killed. Like, it is a very deep subject. Like, I've seen people who vocally say, I don't agree with you on a lot of other stuff or whatever, but it's just, the entire subject of the Daniel Penny situation is a very deep subject that has a lot of things in it, that has a lot of talking points. There's a lot of things in it, and if you're not gonna at least understand either side of it, then why talk about it? He watches an interview that was just that they were both kind of arguing in this interview, to be fair, but he did not even want to listen to the point she was making, and just said, well, God, well, look, he was in the subway, freaking everyone out. It's like, okay, but like, what about the chokehold? How long was this person held down? Like, what about these other implications that were around the situation? Like, are you gonna at least think about that? Like, you don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with what this person was saying, but to not even think about it on any kind of level, to even say, well, what does the experts say? I mean, she brings up other Marines that said other things about the chokehold. You could say, then look into what the other Marines would have said. But he didn't care. He just was, it was just argument. It was not argumentative. My bad. But he was just saying like, just superficial things about this subject that is very deep and it's very like heavy to just discuss willy-nilly like this. And that's the kind of topics he wants to talk about because it's a buzzworthy fucking news story for him. And he made four clips acting proud of his takes. They weren't that good to begin with. No matter where you sit on the Daniel Penny situation, he did not make good takes. He was not informed on the situation at all. He only went on very superficial meanings. And then the shit on the person's father is just despicable. Like, regardless, you should at least feel some kind of empathy that a person's son got killed. Like, you could say that like, he didn't even say, you know, it's sad that this person was driven to be this like mentally unstable and the system failed. He tried to make that argument, but it was so weak. And it didn't even sound like he cared. It sounded so disconnected to what he was talking about. I honestly forgot to even criticize the system of the jailing system or whatever, because it was so like minimal of the point. It really felt that he cared less about the person who died and mostly used him as a prop in his like fucking politics show. It was so disgusting, and it was just not a good segment. And that's his politics show. He doesn't want to talk about anything else. He didn't want to talk about about Trump's cabinet picks. Why? Why didn't he want to talk about them? Oh, they're not finished yet. You can still talk about them and inform people what may be coming into the cabinet. Like, that's still a news story you could talk about. He thinks that news, like, why does things need to be definitive for him to talk about it? half the time you want to discuss something in the news to just to enlighten people of what's going on, because that's part of people reading the news. And he's like, well, this doesn't have a lot of information. Why would I read this? There's a lot of information on RFK Jr. that he could just look up, but he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to look up as to what is RFK Jr.'s beliefs on vaccines. What's his beliefs on what the FDA should do? The only thing he talked about him and the FDA was about the food dye thing, which is like a very minimal story that was just basically one person made a article that said something incorrect, and that was it. But other than that, you could kind of be more deductive as to what is RFK all about, and he didn't want to even go further than that. He doesn't care, because at the end of the day, what DSP politics is to him is just another thing to milk, and that is not a good thing for any content to go on. He says that other people like milk content, like they milk other videos and they milk drama, they're milking humans and this kind of shit, but his politics show was just milking the attention that Kino Kasuna gave him, and he's already walking it back. He's already debating if it should even be weekly at this point. It should end. At this point, if he's not going to put the legwork to make a good politics show, he should just end it. His takes are not good, they're not informed, and they're not even interesting. Like, I've read the comments on my videos, and I'm very happy with them. People who have disagreed with me have openly even said, like, you know, look, I disagree with you, but yeah, I do agree that this guy makes a bad point here and there, whatever, and that's fine. I go in through, and this is the other issue with DSP's politics show. When I was reacting to his stuff, I wanted to make it very clear. My opinion on anything he's talking about politically is just my opinion. I'm not telling you that what I think is the right way to think or is the right way to do anything. I'm just telling you my thoughts as to like what I think, and just that's it. You know, and I also try to understand what the other side is. Like, I try to understand a lot of other stuff that I may disagree with, but that's just like, I'm just relaying what I think, and I'm not looking for people to like agree with me or change their mind or anything like that. But when I was watching DSP's politics show, it's very clear to me he goes into that wanting people to just agree with him and say, "Wow, Phil, you're a smart man." Every time DSP has talked about being on All Cow Live or Kino Casino, he always called himself the straight man because he feels like he's like the normal guy who has good base takes in this, that. When you say that I have base takes unironically in a tweet, you gotta self-report yourself as a dude who has a big head. Like, you really think that your political takes are that based? Like, come on. So like, that's why his politics show is gonna fail as well, because it's being run by a dude who's narcissistic that doesn't want to do any fucking legwork. It is embarrassing. And his politics show has gotten worse and worse and worse. Like, the fact the first one was the most tame politics show you could find is insane. It's insane. And the take was Kamala dumb, which is not a huge take at all. But it's like, all he said there was, wow, guys, our YouTube channel sucks, and she focused on one subject, but it didn't go any deeper than that. Because there's other factors as to why she failed in her campaign. It wasn't just, oh, her YouTube videos were dumb. There were other things that were going on with it. But he has no insight on that because he doesn't care. And he wants to do a politics show. I think I talked about this in my politics video, a few weeks ago as well. It's just, it all runs into the same issue. And with Kino Casino officially saying that they're done with him, and now he's going back, his support's dwindling again, back to where it used to be, carried by a few whales, and some new whales, sure, but even some of them, I think, are already scaling down their support. You can already tell that this was kind of, in a way, a thing he didn't give a fuck about. Because when anyone else gets a surge of attention, they try to utilize that to motivate them to try harder. They try harder. I have seen people like get a huge surge of followers that I gotta try harder now. I gotta work really hard on like this and that, whatever, because they know that these people can eventually leave as well, and DSP doesn't understand that. I've seen also artists that get followed by bigger artists, and they're like, "Oh shit, I gotta like up my game. I gotta try harder on my art now. I gotta like keep going." And isn't that like a lot of this stuff is stuff that is like that people think about when they want something to be shared and shown and all, or that they're passionate about. And that's the other big factor with DSP. He's devoid of passion. He's passionate about nothing. He just uploads videos and that's it. Again, he had this big surge, and the most crazy thing DSP has did with his attention was make a politics channel, a politics show, right after the election. So it was like, okay, you did what people wanted, but you did it after the election. Like, and that also defeats the purpose, right? Because you think that he should have done it before the election so he can inform people who to vote for, or at least give people more information on the candidates. But he didn't do that. I don't know why. I'm not DSP. I don't know why he wouldn't want to do that if he wants to go into politics so bad. Because eventually, if he kept doing politics, guess what he's going to end up having to do? Talk about future candidates. Is he just not going to talk about future candidates until they win their seats? That's not like, that's not good. That's not a good approach to have, honestly, because you're just going to just wait until all is said and done and not try to inform people as to what candidate might be good or bad, or what you think about these candidates or whatever. Like, I don't know. I mean, he lives in our country, in America, and he doesn't want to share any opinion on any candidate because I don't know. Like, because he said even about voting, I don't want to vote in Washington because my voice doesn't matter because it always votes blue. He has a channel where he can reach thousands of people and he can inform people about candidates that he thinks should win or whatever, or just inform them on candidates. And he didn't want to do that. He went and he opened it after the presidency. After the presidential election, he then started doing politics. Why? And now, like, he's already late on that front. He did it, like, right when people, like, kind of was, like, not caring anymore. And then, also, during that time, the Kino Casino attention also was drying up. Because the last thing they did at that point was the Halloween marathon. And that was it. That was the last thing. And he starts the politics show after the election, and that's it. Nothing else. And he kept bugging them to find out a day that they're not streaming. It doesn't matter, man. That show was doomed from the start. And he had no follow through. That was the only thing he did with his new attention, was make a new politics channel or a politics show. Nothing else. He didn't try to find other ways to show his content or find something more creative to do with it or anything. He doesn't even want to try to make an edited video or anything because he can't do it. He's not creative enough. His editing is so bad. Look at the editing he did for KO Gaming. It's all corny transitions, corny clips he uses. It's all not like interesting at all. It's just not good. And he has not shown any interest in learning or growing his craft, like, at all. And this is gonna continue to happen until he stops making videos. Until he stops streaming, he will still be making this issue of just resting on his laurels. And he's hoping that this Kino Casino attention he had is just gonna carry into his regulars, and that will be it. Because the way he talks about it now is, well, guys, the Kino Casino thing is over, guys. It was coming as a wave. It's like peaks and valleys. No one talks like that in this kind of industry. Again, silly word to use, I guess, but I've never heard anyone who does streams, does content, talk about waves of popularity like DSP, where it's like, well, it's the wave of Kino Casino, and it's temporary, guys. We knew it was gonna go away eventually, but you could have just done more with it. He doesn't understand how to handle eyes on him. And again, if he was streaming for the first time, I get it, but he's like 40 years old, streaming for 15, 20 million years, and he doesn't understand. when you have an opportunity like what Kino Casino literally gave to him on a fucking silver platter, you don't just sit there and be like, okay, well, they're gonna stick around. I'm just gonna ride this out. Like, you don't just ride it out, man. You try to give them something to eat, and you say, okay, like now I'm gonna go crazy. Now I'm gonna like think about what I want to do. I'm gonna try other stuff. Let's try reviewing movies. Let's try reviewing TV shows. Let's do video game reviews again. You know, he doesn't do any of that. He didn't do any of that. He gets a whole new attention, and the best he could do was a delayed DSP politics stream where it's very like specific as to what he wants to talk about in it, and it's only when there's hard information, nothing speculative, nothing for him to chew on, to think about, and it's not even good. It's not even good content, and he doesn't want to try anything else. He had all this time. He could have tried to do co-op with them a little bit more. All they did, Chained Together and Call of Duty. That was the best he could do. He didn't want to do anything else. He wants to do meme games with them. He doesn't want to do Dead Island 2 with them. He doesn't want to do any realistic, meaningful co-op. He doesn't want to do these meme games. Like, that's fine. Do Cook Together, whatever the fuck, the cooking game. He could do that, whatever. But why not just do meaningful co-op? It is almost the same criticism I had when he was hyping up Cat Co-op, and all he wanted to do was boring, tedious meme games with her. Like, of course that was gonna fail. You're doing Like a Dragon to Doko Island. You think that's the most enjoyable part of the game? And even when he played it, it was not even unique. It was just, what can we do to get the highest rating, guys? Let's do the highest rating. And that's it. That's all he cared about, to get the rewards. That's all he talked about. Not making it interesting island, just, what can I get the most rewards on? Which is like, you're just taking the fun out of it. Off the bat. And now with this, it's like, you're not gonna do anything with PPP or Andy that's interesting or unique. Like, again, people are saying, why do you play Street Fighter with them? Well, they're not fighting game players. Why does it matter? Why don't you just play a Street Fighter with them, and pick characters you suck at? I don't know. Like, it doesn't have to be that deep. It's just a casual fun. But he wants to play these like meme casual games, so that everyone doesn't have to worry about, oh man, DSP bodied Andy in Street Fighter. Wow, that's fucked up or whatever. But instead, why not just play like other games like Dead Island 2 or whatever? Like, it's so lame that, and this is what I even said back then, that they wasted their time and they wasted effort to give this spotlight to a person who doesn't deserve it. DSP is the least deserving person of any spotlight I have seen. And that's not saying that I'm any better. I'm just saying you could give that spotlight to anyone else and they will do more with it than DSP. A turd on a driveway will do more with that spotlight than DSP. And it's such a waste of time. And all these people wasted their money to just fund a dude who doesn't care. He doesn't care what he puts out. That's why when he has tech difficulties, it becomes everyone's problem because he derails his entire stream for it. The RGBs are the pivotal, perfect example of this. You don't get anything off of the RGBs, but if it desyncs or if it turns off, he will stop what he's doing to focus on it. And it benefits nothing. Nobody. Why care? Just continue the stream and be entertaining. But no, we gotta stop everything and talk about RGBs all day. Let's talk about AI RGBs I have. Like, shut up. You don't know anything about your own fucking career at this point. Like, so that is what I feel is going to end up happening with this Kino Casino arc. He's going to cope and say, well, guys, we knew it was just going to go away. It was only temporary. And it's just going to be another thing that's just going to go by the wayside. And it'll be a fart in the wind. Because like everything in DSP's life, it goes out with a whimper. When he's involved, it's with a whimper. This dude sucks. And I would love it if this became a thing where no one wants to give him any attention anymore because this dude just can't handle it. He doesn't do anything with it. So that is my thought on this content. I mean, it's going nowhere. The gameplay content's the same as ever. It's not. That's not going to change. The support system is the same. It sucks. Pressure heavy. It's just bad all around. And honestly, what we ended up with is a far worse DSP than what we started with. And that, I think, is enough for anyone to realize how bad this dude is as a content creator. The fact that, like, anyone that changes their content, you could at least argue. Like Mega64, I'll bring them up again. You could argue that despite that they have changed as a YouTube channel, they're at least entertaining to some people, and they at least are trying, and they at least have something going on. Meanwhile, you go to DSP and it's just the same shit. It's just the status quo. And what gets people less engaged than giving the people the same shit? The same tried bullshit that you're just giving them. It's not gonna last forever, and he's gonna go back to being like, guys, $50 is successful now. It's gonna be a matter of time. It's gonna be a matter of time before he just starts coping where he is in life again, because this dude will ride a high and then he'll just cope when he's on the low. This dude is not talented at all, and he can't handle the capacity of what his own industry asks of him. He gets a whole spotlight on him and just sits there and does nothing. Nothing. That is it for this video, guys. I've talked enough. Thank you for watching. I hope you got what I was dishing out. I think I made a good point. I think I made some good stuff in this, because again, this content is just the same old shit. But this is just like, it is wild that it almost made it to a threshold where it could have gone on, but it didn't. It didn't, because he dropped it. Because the other thing, you know what? I have more to say. His own audience kept bringing up that, Phil, PvP and Andy are shitting on you, etc. And the best cope DSP had was, they're just trolling the trolls. And that, to me, was just delusional. Like, you could say that, they're just razzing me all you want. That would have made more sense than they're just trying to get a rise out of the trolls. How? By just agreeing with them? Like, how is that getting a rise? If anything, wouldn't that embolden them to go after you more then at that point? Like, it doesn't make any sense that they would do that if they were just, if they liked you, right? It would actually mean it's worse, because they're egging on the trolls to be more negative towards you. So that doesn't make sense if they're his friends, right? Correct? But that was another thing that people just knew. Yeah, he's just saying this to cope. This is just cope. So thanks for watching. We learned something, I guess. We learned enough. I think we learned enough. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.